Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clueless 8, and this is the pre-market AM report for Thursday, June 11th, 2015. I'm going to keep this video cast reasonably short and give people an idea of where we are and what I think might be going on. I'd like to remind everyone we have had a fantastic performance on the Clueless 8 service in many different fronts. The notable was Netflix, where weekly calls delivered in excess return on investment, ROI, in excess in some cases of almost 800%, depending on what stage you got in, if not more. In some cases, from the original entry, for people who held at least a bit of the position, which I normally do, you were looking at roughly around 12 to 1300 just over a very short period of time. Amazon, Apple, in the indices, IWM SPY, and QQQ all also did tremendously well, and we are grateful for everything that's been given to us. Saying all that, the nature of the markets on a technical basis is extremely powerful at this point. I highlighted very clearly the deep oversold conditions that were prevalent, and my charts, my constant charting, which I delivered on an extremely timely basis on the Twitter real-time feed, on my videocast, and on my website, clearly indicated that we were going to have a powerful rally within 24 hours. One of the things that I mentioned in the what you see, by the way, what you see in the background, as you can clearly see, is S&P 500. And I want you to look at this chart and start determining in your head, based on chart patterns, what you think might be going on, and I'll tell you in a few minutes. I mentioned a couple of very important things here. I mentioned the fact that the most powerful money, what the largest amount of dollars are made within the first 24 hours. That was the case yesterday. Okay. The other part that I kept on mentioning was, despite this power move, a majority of investors and traders, even in our community, um, did not take advantage of what they should have taken advantage of. Now, this is the same old story, as I like to say, that keeps on repeating, and it has directly ties in with behavioral economics. We have an innate fear of every time that this market is just going to crash. The reality of the situation is that if we truly followed, followed the basic tenets of technical analysis, it was very clear that we were going to have a sharp bounce. Now, what happens after that, one has to determine based on a number of different factors. So, saying all that, I highly recommend that all of you who are listening to this, especially the new members, sign up for the group sessions, which I hold, um, and I devote a good portion of my personal time on the weekends, on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. sometimes 10 a.m., but let's say 9 a.m., and Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. And if there is a need, then I will do the Sunday morning ones too. The bottom line is that it is extremely important to understand the very accurate and precise messages that are being delivered through my visual charts. And if you can understand even 40% of it, you'll certainly be a huge beneficiary of the US financial markets. That's my opinion. I am. So I don't see why anyone else can't. So let's take a look at oh, and by the way, if you need to know what the caliber of these coaching sessions are, which are really, honestly speaking, are to help you. It's $30 for the group sessions, and that's a joke. Like I like to say, I pay my kids high school tutor on his AP physics and stats and all that stuff, 75 bucks an hour. I'm charging 30 bucks here just for the little bit downtime, the setup, all that work that that my tech admin has to do. And I go ahead, I don't just clock the clock at an hour. I normally go an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. And if you want to get a feel of what exactly I do, then please take a minute, and it's going to help you. Read the testimonials on the website, and you'll see exactly what others who have taken it and how much it's helped them. All right, let's move on. Here's a very simple chart of the S&P 500. The Darvas box is transposed on top of it. I use it a constant. It's basically a standard feature on on all my charts, especially on Thinkorswim. And we have this is the upper end of the Darvas box. This is basically a trading range at that snapshot in time. So this is a 1 hour chart. Doesn't mean this is going to do it in 1 hour. It simply tells you that this is where we are. So 2108, as you can see, upper end of the scale, 2105, very tight band here. So what does this look like to you? Well, very simple way of describing it, this is a bull flag. Okay, this is a bull flag. What you have here is this sharp move down, up, and you're creating a flag. This is also known as a consolidation channel. Now, this flag can also look like this. Okay, nothing to fear. You know, these are the most constructive and biggest money-making chart patterns out there. Okay, so this is bull flag, and so even if it comes down to 2100, it's not a biggie, because the bull flag, in my opinion, as we get towards Friday, and we might have some, and I'll go into that in a second. We'll probably have some choppiness in the week of the 15th, which starts off on Monday, and there's the Fed speakers, there's the Greek stuff going on, decisions and all that, and there will be choppiness next week, no question about it. And then you're going to get that big rush into the end of the month, into window dressing, portfolio markups, and I still believe, and I hold to it, that we will have a strong finish to the month of June. Generally speaking, mutual fund managers and the large pension fund managers, institutional money, that's what runs the markets. Okay, not you and me. They don't want to have back-to-back negative quarters. We had a negative first quarter. Second quarter, I believe, will be positive. Right now, and this is something I want everyone to think. I'm deviating a little bit from the technical analysis here. That despite all this choppiness, despite all these big moves here and there, we're only up maybe 2% on the Dow. We're up 8% on the NASDAQ, and we're up a couple of percentage points on the Russell 2000. It's a joke. Look what's happening around the world. Germany was up 24%, and even after a 10% correction, now they're moving up. We can't do 15%. You know, at this stage of the game. I mean, it's really, you know, and our companies are some of the finest in the world. Our economy is one of the best right now. Like I always said, this is the best. It's the best house in a bad neighborhood. China's in a complete bubble, but no one really cares. They keep on saying, "Hey, China's the market to invest. It's going to go higher and higher." It's a total bubble. There are people investing in that who can't even read numbers. I'm serious. I'm not making this up. And this is not a reflection of the Chinese society. I'm just saying that there's a mania going on. And every time the market goes up here in the US, we're talking bubble, bubble, bubble. You know what a bubble is? A bubble is when 80% of the clueless day trading community and 90% of stock twits is so euphoric and everybody's making a lot of money. And all I hear is about, oh man, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, and and not being scared. That's a bubble. A bubble is created when the majority of traders and investors have invested heavily in the market. We are very far from that. In short-term corrective pullbacks, absolutely. We just had one. We just had one where the stochastics and the internals went to zero. I was very aggressive about buying this. So the bottom line is you really have to think twice about what's going on in your amygdala, right? Want to look that up? Amygdala, Amygdala. And you got to talk to your amygdala and tell them what to do. Fear is making traders poor, and it's a fact. I won't even get into what kind of money was made yesterday on just Netflix alone. And a bunch of traders did that, even though small amounts. So what? It's big money. Small gets big. $5 calls go to 15. $5 calls go to 53. This is not a joke. It's happening in front of us. So you got to capitalize and catch the meat in the middle so you feel great. Confidence is key. You do a good trade, and then the rest of the trades going forward are going to be equally powerful. Don't always think about never go into a trade thinking how much you're going to lose, how much you're not going to lose. Go into a trade thinking how much you're going to make. Think about what might go right, not what might go wrong. You start thinking like that, positive thinking, you're going to be a great trader. And of course, you mix in my technicals and all the mumbo jumbo, everything that I show, and you go with it. Scale in, be a little bit more aggressive with what you do. It's not an easy job, but boy, it pays, right? So there you go. Saying all that, this is a bull flag, and I believe that the market gets up to about this 2120 range and completes this pattern. After this, we'll probably have a little bit of choppiness because there's a volatility cluster here. I explain all this in the advanced coaching sessions, coaching sessions, I'm sorry, and very important that people you know, attend them. Um, and this volatility cluster means there was a lot of buying and selling and decision, the choppiness. This is supply and demand. So you're probably going to get that. You're probably going to get that a bit. That's going to resolve upside, and we are going to get to new highs. And that's pretty much what's going to happen. Patterns repeat themselves because human behavior, fear and greed is manifested in charts in the form of patterns. Period. All right, so that's what's going to market. So at this point, this is key. If we break out over this, we're going to hit up, and you can play the spies on this and do very well. When it comes to individual stocks, um, to be honest with you, my daily posts are very clear. And if you study the charts, you'll see what it is. If you don't understand the charts, again, you got to put some effort and get the detailed analysis when I present it on the group sessions. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, the SPY, for example. Oops, sorry. Okay. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ composite. Same story. Got, we're deep oversold, great buying opportunity, and bang, that's what happened, right? We kind of remember this was a low, the reversal. I mean, it's very clear cut. I mean, really, and you had to leave some positions open here. This was a false breakdown that the algos and the HFT manufactured to get nervous traders out of the game. You can see that right there, this candle, and oops, sorry, my apologies. Let me see. Okay, right there, right? So this is a beauty. So this pattern, in my opinion, gets repeated. So we're going to get to about this level. In the meantime, bull flag developing here. There's going to be dogmatic, nervous traders who missed the whole rally. They always give the same reason. Well, next time. Well, there's never a next time because you know what? There are no perfect moments. Take the moment you have it and make it perfect. I'm not giving you a Tony Robbins speech here. I'm just telling you the way it is because I do this every day for a living. Okay. So bottom line is that we have this you can draw it like this, duplicate drawing, and if you measure it out, guess where it gets to? Exactly what, previous highs. So this is channel is traveling in. So a little slippage here and there. Now, if we break the 50 and the 34, that's a different story. Then the whole thing changes. Okay? Yes, we're overbought, but we can stay overbought a little bit. We're talking about going into Friday. So that that's kind of sums it up. And why am I explaining this indices, especially for the new listeners, new members, and we have quite a few of them who have joined in? It's because you cannot trade in a vacuum. You have to understand what's happening out there. And once you understand what's happening out there, then you can hold on to your trade. Listen, getting into a trade is not the hardest part. It's not the hardest part. It's holding that trade. We all know that, right? It's managing that trade to stick with the game. And that's why that tweet that I posted out about the wisdom, trading wisdom, is critical. Print it out and put it out there. I did. I have a lot of them. So practice discipline, practice strength, and you will get stronger as a trader. Trust me when I tell you that. I've been there. I know it. So that's the NASDAQ. Want to take a quick look at the Russell 2000, the U.S. small cap growth, my favorite, like I like to say, the U.S. small cap infantry. Take a look at the daily. And what is the daily telling you? The daily is telling you that if it breaks this thing, which I think it will, because this is a very constructive chart. Look at this. The daily stochastics are not overbought. It wants to get up here. And that means that it gets to about 1280. So these are from a swing perspective. Intraday, all kinds of choppiness and everything will happen. We had a strong retail number, which was great. That was a relief. I believe that if we had a negative retail number, the futures would be down right now, quite large. But that's it. look forward to engaging with you all, and thank you for listening.